Thank you all for being here. Today we're going to discuss the use of force listening tour. I think you're all familiar with it from the op-ed that ran in the Record last weekend. Public safety remains one of the highest priorities for the City of Stockton. Fortunately, Measure A is funding the addition of 120 police officers, which are being hired as we speak, and the Office of Violence Prevention, which continues working toward the long-term disruption of crime cycles. We are currently experiencing a declining crime rate, even as our officers respond to 1,000 calls for service per day. All of this goes a long way toward making our community safer. But our public safety goals go beyond just being safer. We want people to feel safer, to feel respected, and to feel confident that their opinion matters. The topic of how people are treated by people in positions of authority, and specifically police, can be volatile because it invokes strong emotions dating back to the origins of this country. The topic is often ignored because it's difficult, but it's so interwoven in the fabric of American history that it shapes the lens through which we view today's issues here in Stockton. Our public safety goals can only be reached if we work toward achieving high levels of trust. To get there, we need to have a better understanding of how our community views their relationship with the people who protect them. We want to hear from stakeholders who can provide those insights. Chief?
Thank you, Kurt. So I want to talk a little bit about how we're going to do this and how we're going to get out in our listening tour. To begin with, a little bit about the purpose. As the city manager mentioned, this is a dialogue and a discussion that's going on across the nation, across the state. It's a very important discussion that is going on. Part of the discussion has to be not only on the expectation of the police officers with trust and accountability, but also the expectations of the public as well in being compliant and cooperative during police contacts. The specific purpose of this listening tour that the city manager and I are doing is to hear from or continue the ongoing dialogue and to hear from those of the community that we might not otherwise be able to hear from. We've had a lot of forums. We've had a lot of dialogue. In fact, tomorrow, for example, I will be having a forum at the NAACP Youth Summit talking to the youth about this very issue. But this is really going to take us to the next level to be able to talk to anybody who wants to have this dialogue who might otherwise not. And that could be because of feeling perhaps intimidated or as if the meeting is being locked out by particular groups. And we've heard from the community that they want to have this dialogue with us, but also be able to have some privacy in doing so we can really get into a lot of the root topics surrounding this. We've done a lot of things already, I believe. If we go back a couple years, working with the U.S. Department of Justice Community Relations Service on establishing a community advisory board here in Stockton. So that community advisory board meets monthly with me, specific to police community relations. And this topic that we're going to be specifically talking to the community about is really about police community relations and specific to use of force issues, questions, concerns of our community, and we want to hear from our community. So that's why we will be setting up a series of meetings with small groups or individuals. We will take this dialogue out to the residents of our very community members, to the businesses, if there's business owners or business men and women who want to talk to us about this issue. And we're ready to have a very busy schedule as we talk and reach out to the community. And we think this is unique in that, yes, many jurisdictions are having public forums, and we've had them and we will continue to have them. But for this specific topic, to take this dialogue out into the community and have the meetings wherever the community would like to have them, again, in small groups, individual or up to five people, set them up, and we will be doing a series of a lot of meetings. So the way that we're asking the public to set these listening tour discussions up is by calling the Stockton Police Department Executive Assistant, Patricia Hunter, at 209-937-8217, or at her email, which is patricia.hunter@stocktongov.com, and we'll schedule these meetings. What are we hoping to achieve? We're hoping to achieve the next level dialogue and to be able to actually hear from our community around this topic so that we can move forward on what our next steps are. We're looking at insights that we can gain on this topic of use of force as it relates to police community relations, and to inform us on any future actions that we may take. You've heard me say this before at Stockton Police Department. We are about educating ourselves on what's going on across the nation, across the state, and in our industry. We're also looking at examining things that are going on within our community and across the nation, and willing to upgrade our police department, whether it be policies, practices, and procedures, or the way we do our training. City Manager, anything else on the topic?
No, we can jump right to questions if there are any.
So how soon are you guys going to start meeting with people? Do you guys have already people that had approached you? You're gonna start with these people, or you're just opening to whenever the first person calls?
As soon as the first person calls. We've already had some interest because we've been kind of telegraphing that we're doing this. The official announcement is today. We've already had some interest. We're setting up appointments effective today. We do just ask that all of the appointments be set up before the end of March. That doesn't mean the appointment or the listening session has to happen by the end of March. Those can go out through the summer. We just want them to be, there a window of when you can set up an appointment is between now and the end of March.
Does this have anything to do with, people coming to city council meetings, or with protesters that, are handing out flyers and such?
Well, in one respect, it's related, but it's not. So it's not an attempt to stop people from protesting. So protesting is an appropriate form. People can express their opinion. Most of the folks that we've found who want to protest fall into one of two categories. Some who enjoy the adrenaline rush of going through that process, but the majority of whom just need an opportunity to be heard. They do that because they have no other outlet for expressing their opinion and making sure that people know what is going on. So we're actually addressing the latter half of that component so that if people choose to go with that route instead, they can sit down with us and express their concerns so that they do have an outlet so their voice can be heard.
What would the meeting look like? So somebody makes an appointment and then you have a sit-down one-on-one time? Chief's office, or how is it going to be?
Wherever they want it. They can certainly have it in my office. They can have it at the city manager's office. If they want to have it in their living room, we'll go out into the community and have it in their living room. That's the whole point of us getting out and hearing from a lot of the community that, for example, I've heard they're a little bit reserved in doing it or have had some concerns as to speaking up at some of the forums, but want their voices heard. We're willing to listen, and this is a new way of doing it.
What's the
Why are
ultimate
people
goal?
afraid to speak up at the forum?
It's been a combination of things that I've personally heard, and that is from not wanting to appear as if they're overshadowing a grieving mother or family member. Also possibly because they might feel intimidated because there's some groups that there's the perception that may have kind of taken over the meeting and made it disruptive. A variety of reasons, or just it's a very sensitive topic as well. I've heard all three of those things.
And even separate from the actual topic, we often hear from people just with their reservations about coming to city council meetings that they're just uncomfortable speaking in public.
What is the ultimate goal of these listening tours?
We want to get a better handle on what the situation really looks like. As the chief mentions, the ultimate goal is to make adaptations where appropriate to make sure that we get to a better place here in Stockton. And before we run off and try to solve a problem, we want to make sure we're solving the right problem.
Are you guys willing to have those meetings in Spanish too, or other languages?
We are. In fact, we plan to make some specific efforts to do so because, again, our goal is to hear from the entire community, not just those who we normally have conversations with. So, yes, we do have a strong interest in having the conversation in other languages.
Time for one more question?
Chief, you guys, there's a small but vocal group in town whose answer to anything you're likely to say is gonna be your line. How do you hope that this type of meeting can overcome that attitude towards the police department, that it doesn't matter what they say because they're not telling you the truth anyway?
So that really gets to what is our goal? What is it that we're trying to do? And this is about listening to the community and being able to answer some questions they have. We talk a lot about transparency. I think we are definitely being as transparent as we can possibly be. And the goal is to meet with anybody. If any of these groups want to talk with us and have us come out and tell us their perception or information, we're willing to go out and listen to them.
All right, thank you. This concludes our